Quarter-final time at the Bet Victor English Open, and after 4 final frame deciders yesterday, we cannot wait for 2 scintillating sessions of live snooker. We start with one of 3 world champions who happens to be taking on the youngest player still in the draw. Here we go, it's showtime in Essex. Here comes a player having one of the best weeks of his career. Victories over Carter and Bingham see him through to only the 3rd quarter-final of his career. He's lean, he's keen, and he's ready to go. Yize. And now to the player of the season so far. He won Shanghai, he won Saudi. Here he is, emerging for a 95th ranking event quarter-final. And lest we forget, he's parked on 998 centuries and counting. The world #1, the ace in the pack, Judd.
Well, traditionally in the Home Nations series, if you make it through to quarter-final Friday, you start to fancy your chances. Just 8 players left, but some real big hitters still to come. Mark Allen, Mark Selby, Neil Robertson, amongst others. Right now, though, Yize and Judd Trump meet again, of course. Wu was 4-0 up in Riyadh a couple of weeks ago. Trump beat him 5-4.
Thank you. The first frame, Judd Trump to break.
Judd Trump, the defending English Open champion, gets quarter-final day underway. This is traditionally the time in events when he starts to up his game. He's got through the best of 7s. Bit of a mixed performance. He's not been that happy with conditions, but he's still here, and that makes him dangerous. But speaking of dangerous, Yize, just 20 years of age, determined, I'm sure, to get a little bit of revenge for what happened in Saudi Arabia. From 4-0 up, he only scored 35 points. He didn't throw it away, though. It's got to be said. He didn't have lots of clear-cut chances. Trump just forced his way back into it and got the win. Neil folds alongside me.
Yeah, it should be a terrific game. And I think that the match in Riyadh was... He had a chance to win 5-0. Not loads, but he had that chance to put the match away quickly and get Trump knocked out by way of a whitewash. And once he didn't do that, he never really had the clear-cut opportunities. I think that's what it's like against top players. You think you've got all this leeway, all these frames. As we see the black go in 7 away, but you actually, if you don't do it there and then, maybe you're not going to do it at all. And that's the lesson maybe he learned from that. Anyway, knock that in if you tried. I don't know if there's a possible free ball here. Don't think so. I think the left-hand red of the bunch can be hit on both sides, perhaps. Must be tight. Yeah, it would have been a close one, that, but it wasn't called, and we move on.
Wu choosing to put Trump back in. 7 points need to go on his score. It could be handy later.
Well, he missed that one, but that is part of his game. He is a very good player at long range. He's a good potter and scorer. I agree with Alan. His shot selection isn't quite right yet. We saw that actually with Panjin Su, another young player coming through. Just didn't quite play the right shots at the end of his match against Chris Wakelin, and I don't know how he didn't win, quite honestly. 3-0 up and at 3-all, a long way in front in the decider. Wakelin snatched it on the colours. But I think sometimes you just learn the hard way and you have a few defeats, and hopefully players learn from those defeats. It's the same for everybody that's ever played.
5.
So Trump looking to just get going. Of course, we're down to one table, although tonight we'll be using 2. It's just a slight distraction. Meanwhile, yeah, 2 centuries he needs. It was a great moment last night when John Higgins got to 1,000. Trump was very gracious online on social media to congratulate him this morning. They've been involved in this race, really, ever since Ronnie got there. It sort of was down to the 2 of them to be second. John just won it. But he's not going to win this tournament, of course. He's out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Ronnie and John, along with Mark Williams and 1 or 2 others, turned professional all at the same time in 1992. Ronnie got to 1,000 up 10th of March 2019.
13.
So 5.5 years ago. Doesn't really detract from what John has achieved, but it shows you O'Sullivan's
14.
incredible break-building abilities. O'Sullivan's 1,000 was the last frame of snooker ever played at Preston Guildhall. With all that history, it closed. I think it has reopened, but snooker's never been played there since. Of course, never say never. Maybe we'll be back there again one day. But that 1,000 was the last frame played there.
Well, Trump would love to do it, of course, but he's here to try and win the match, to try and win the tournament. Didn't seem to be any thoughts of not playing this week. He'd booked his hotel. He said straight after the Saudi final he would be here, and he's been true to his word.
We saw the camera angle. History, it closed. I think it has reopened, but snooker's never been played there since. Of course, never say never. Maybe we'll be back there again one day. But that 1,000 was the last frame played there.
Well, Trump would love to do it, of course, but he's here to try and win the match, to try and win the tournament. Didn't seem to be any thoughts of not playing this week. He'd booked his hotel. He said straight after the Saudi final he would be here, and he's been true to his word.
I don't think he's on that right-hand red. We saw the camera angle, and he's faced with this one with awkward cueing instead. Yes, I mean, the Saudi event's terrific, but, I mean, there was talk that 1 or 2 players, had they gone on to win, who didn't win it, would sort of have a few months off, whatever, which would be the only downside I can see to an event like that taking place, really, that players would just put their feet up and not participate on the tour. Anyway, that's not there. And that's a pretty significant ball to miss. He was steering the cue ball onto a red, but forgot the pot.
Yeah, surprising miss. Yize has done for a couple of Essex players, Ali Carter and Stuart Bingham. Beat Ben Wollaston yesterday. 140 in the world, but seems to be rising all the time. Got to the semis last season at the Wuhan Open. That's his best performance in a ranking event. Of course, it was Judd Trump who beat him there 6 frames to 1.
Yeah, rising all the time is correct. Every time I see him, I think he seems to have got taller. I first saw him
8
in qualifying for the Lockdown World Championships. He was talented then, but as he's grown taller and stronger, he's some handful now as a player.
Nine.
Yeah, he was 14 when he won the World Under-21 Championship. So the signs were there from a young age.
Well, if he played that cannon, it was very well done, because anything but a full ball collision with the red would have taken the cue ball away from the reds, but if he did play, it was a lovely shot. I don't know how he will be feeling about what happened when they met just the other week in Saudi. The fact that he did lead so markedly and lost. Whether that will play any part in what we see here, I don't know.
15.
Be interesting to find out.
I think the thing about that was Trump was playing so poorly, it didn't look like he could recover, but he found a way. Spent the interval, Trump, looking for flights home.
$22.
Yeah, for years and years, best of
23.
9 was the standard distance of snooker matches, but there were very few matches turned over from 4-0. Quite a rarity.
$30. $31.
The other thing, of course, the table has not been recovered, but Yize is coming onto this table, having spent most of the week on the outside. So, you know, Judd Trump, OK, might not necessarily like the table, but he has played every match on it.
$39.
A little delicate shot there because he's got a very expansive backswing on almost every shot with Yize. So sometimes a little deft shots are not so easy to play. When he's getting through the ball, he looks quite a formidable player. I've always thought that.
44.
Maybe these conditions, I wouldn't say suit him, but maybe he's not as inconvenienced by them as some players. Very strong cue action.
45.
He's doing all right here.
So far punishing that unexpected missed black from Trump. And just showing Judd Trump how good he's feeling. This was the miss.
50.
Can't help thinking his mind was just on steering the cue ball in behind that red as well, which might be part of the reason why
51.
he missed. But it seemingly will cost him. He's taken these very nicely and pretty rapidly, hasn't he?
Yeah, this red for the frame, I think it was important to step in, as I say, show Trump
58.
how good he's feeling here in what is a big match to reach only his second semi-final in a world ranking event. Yeah, very good visit this from Yize.
59. $56. $67.
Just looking at the lineup today, I mean, the semis could be Trump v Selby, Allen v Robertson, but equally none of them could be there. They're playing four players who all played good stuff this week.
$74.
Oh, soft screw shot here, or maybe just a run through onto the yellow off the cushion. Yeah, he didn't play it that way. I thought he might just play this soft stunned across, but it's almost pendulum swing twice across for the yellow. I mean, he looks $1 million when he's playing like this, doesn't he? The occasional shot when a frame is tight, he might not quite know, but he knows all the rest. Fabulous break. get the feeling it's just a matter of time with Yize. And even Judd would be aware of that.
A lot of talk about centuries. John Higgins getting to 1,000. Judd Trump needs 2 to get there. But here in frame 1 of this quarter-final is Yize with the pink, who makes a century, really punishing that missed black from Trump. Fabulous clearance from 20-year-old Yize to get the quarter-finals well and truly underway here in Brentwood. Brentwood Centre is the venue for the Bet Victor English Open, the first leg of the Home Nation Series. No one's won more of these events than Judd Trump. He's won 6. He's been in 9 finals. He's been in 11 semi-finals. But in this quarter-final, he trails 1-0 after Yize's century. And Judd Trump, and this is a strange stat, but it's true. We've got lots of different lengths of matches. This is a best of 9. He's not lost a best of 9 frame match in a ranked event since here 2 years ago when Luca Brissell beat him in the quarter-finals. So every best of 9 he's played in a ranked event since then, he's won. Including, of course, the match with Yize in Riyadh.
It's an interesting stat. It's very hard to put anything logical behind it, but I would say he's got a good man in his corner, his brother Jack, who, you know, they have a very honest chat, I think, sometimes when they get to a mid-session, and best of 9s always have those. So maybe on the odd match he might have been about to lose, he's had a pep talk with someone who is absolutely in his corner, his brother. Might be a factor in never losing any of those. When he's playing well, of course, Judd Trump, there's no need for any such thing. Yize is the kind of player, if you were up against him on a going day and he was knocking everything in, you would think, well, this guy is just going to be the best thing since sliced bread, you know. It's not always like that. But if you've got the mechanics of a cue action in the first place, it really helps. And he's got all of the things you need. Well, he managed to get enough spin on the cue ball to land it behind the black there, despite the conditions that we've got. And what Alan McManus said is absolutely right. Maybe you have to go a little lower on the cue ball and put more into it to get the desired spin, but of course that leads to balls being missed occasionally because you're putting too much into the shot. Accuracy is compromised.
9.
Alex Chrisan, the referee, just making sure this pink is in line with the spots.
Thank you. 15.
Well, this is the kind of shot there's been problems with this week. The opening of a very tightly packed bunch of reds. He's got the chance to play it if he wants to here. Oh, well, what a shot that is. That is, I think, the best I've seen all week.
21.
Beautifully done. Smack on that top red. Cue ball has not moved, but the reds have all moved all right.
22.
course, the black was just moved from its spot there, and the pink
27.
from below the spot. So we'll play on the blue until he can get right behind the
28.
black. Now, does he try and land on the red, or does he play a little cannon it into the reds to land on one? Well, do you know, I don't think he meant to cannon that ball. I think he actually tried to land on a red from bouncing off the cushion. There's a mistake. Tried to find the gap, but hit the red half ball. Well, look, it's a
24.
terrific part, but that plant was something of a discovery that he only found. It could be that if he plays some sort of a cannon on pink or black here, now could be the time, given there's a red towards the left middle that could be his backup red. So it's not the worst idea to have a dart at the pink and black here. There you have it. That's the worst scenario. He's still on a ball.
30. Yize, 30.
Just trying to hold, wasn't he? And he did everything but go in. This one all round the pocket, horseshoed almost.
One. Six.
Yes, well, pink and black tied up does not really affect Judd in the same way it did with Yize. So this blue and the red that follows it, position's got to be got right here. And that is as good as it gets. Not hampered by the pink or black, which seemed very likely. He's checked the scores, he knows he wants the red only.
Well, they had to
13.
rely on that Wu Yize missed the middle, but because Trump had already got a useful lead from his first visit. It's apparent, obviously, he's become very hard to beat. Judd Trump, whether
18.
he's playing his best or not, finds ways these days. Just one defeat all season, that was in the final of the Xi'an Grand Prix to Karen Wilson.
Three.
So he's played 19 matches, won 18 of them, Trump, in this campaign.
27. Where's
this pink going to finish up? in the pocket. Not quite, but he's won the frame. Will Yize did have his chance there, but missed that red to middle. Judd Trump stepped in. Good match already. And it's level at 1 frame apiece. First to 5 reaches the semi-finals. It's one each between Judd Trump and Will Yize in the first quarter-final of the English Open here in Brentwood. Judd Trump, of course, started that great run last season here. He was 7-3 down in the final to Jan Gander. He'd actually been 5-2 down to John Higgins in the semis. But, again, found ways to win. Went to Wuhan, won that tournament immediately. Came back home, had a few days off. Went to Belfast, won that one. Won 5 tournaments in total. And has already won 2 this season.
All enemies. Who is a 4?
Well, deciding there that he wasn't going to bother putting Judd back in, got the pink freed, but I tell you, Judd knocks this red in, he will regret his decision, Yize. I think players are guilty of overthinking a situation. He thought, well, Judd's going to get out of the snooker on the second time of asking. Well, yeah, maybe, but even then you still got the advantage. You know, attempting playing off the bunch to get the pink free, you're not getting it safe, and, you know, ultimately he's made a wrong decision there, isn't he, Yize? So what if Judd hits it second time? You haven't lost much.
Yeah, and I thought yesterday in particular, Trump's long game was really good, and already today he's knocking them in from distance. He's sort of gone from day one, where he was sort of feeling a bit flat about things, to suddenly sniffing out another trophy. We're here, there's only 3 days left, there's only 8 players left. Position he's been in many, many times before. This is his 95th quarter-final, after all, in a ranking event, looking for semi-final 64.
$11. $13.
A little short of pace on the bottom red. It feels like the kind of shot, it's not the same, but the shot Mark Allen missed against John Higgins at the Crucible. And cost him, it was the same pocket, 1 or 2 things similar. Judd playing it right-handed because it would have been awkward to play it left-handed with the rest. He is a right-handed player. Both players look to be in good form, though. We've seen 2 excellent frames here.
I'm sure a lot of the people here were here till midnight as well. There was a good crowd in watching that Wilson-Hawkins match. Of course, the Allen-Higgins match had been a long drawn-out affair, particularly the decider, where there was half an hour without a ball being potted at one point.
Serious mistake there. Playing that figure of 8 safety shot, and I think the rubber's a bit too far across to the right for the shot, quite honestly. Played it with left hand side, it pushed the cue ball straight into the red.
One. Six. Seven.
And a key shot coming up, whichever colour he takes. If he can land him behind a red, it's a good chance again with the pink available. Black slightly not so at this stage. Well, interesting, playing the brown, forcing it here, must be. God dear, that was hit hard. Into a middle pocket as well, you've got to be so accurate.
11.
And played off the cushion to nudge the red to the left of the black and beyond the black. But it's gone just a bit too far across to the right.
Ping ball. Put er aan 12.
Yeah, just having to be disciplined, failing to make the cannon. So back to the safety.
Yeah, I mean, we saw an extraordinary battle of safety yesterday, last evening. Markel and John Higgins, where in the last frame there went over 30 minutes with loads of reds in open play. And not one ball was potted during that time. I don't think in this match, even if you see a safety battle, we're not going to see a long, very protracted battle. They're both very attacking.
So,
Thank you.
one more frame
Frame
before
four.
the first interval of this English Open. As we're
Who is
now
it
at
to
best of
break?
9. Judd Trump 2, Yize 1. Yize made a century frame 1, but Trump has won couple of frames in a couple of visits. Because he went past Steve Davis on the list of ranking event winners, 29 now. If he were to win this one, he'd only actually be one behind John Higgins. So, just shows you the tremendous rate of success he's had at winning these tournaments.
Very good shot, just to land up to that bed of 2 cushions as he did, causing, of course, absolutely no problems. Had he slipped past that red, perhaps he would have left it on something else. Very important frame for Yize if he can get out of this session 2 each. Yes, he started well. He's been swamped a little bit in the 2 most recent frames, so one square would be very satisfying, I think. Oh, goodness me, that's a dreadful shot, is it? Containing shot, but he's left the red by the black. Surely he has. Don't know what went wrong there, the wheel fell off. Saying how well he's been getting the blend of attack and defence. That's one of the worst containing shots he's played for a while. I mean, here it is again. I can't quite see what. Maybe he just didn't know the red was accessible, or he took it lightly.
9.
He might find out the hard way. Just got one
16.
thin red to go at, nothing else. Now what's he going to do? He'll be very interested in that blue. He'll come round and have a look at it, and he'll make a decision. The likelihood is he'll knock it in, but there's a lot resting on it. Green's a bit of a distraction next to the cue ball also. What a magnificent strike. He would practice that shot all hours, but you've still got to knock it in when they count.
22. Three.
Another long blue, but a very different sort of a shot. Stretching and slight angle.
Yize, 28.
Yeah, you heard the groan from the audience. They were fully expecting to get this one, having got the others, but not to be.
Certainly got partial cover on the reds. I don't know if he's completely blocked them off. He's playing out of a snooker anyway. Question of what he can hit in that bunch.
Oh, miss.
I noticed Alex Cressan just looking down the line. I wonder if he has access to a full ball contact on a red, which wouldn't come into play unless he was to miss again. I don't think he will miss again somehow, because he nearly hit that one. Stopped just fractionally short.
All right.
Let's hit this much harder.
Touching ball.
Well, what a lovely kiss. For him anyway, not so much for Trump. All these little nudges can play their part. Particularly now the Reds have opened up.
Well, it was a bit fortunate originally to get the nudge off the yellow, and now a chance has come about as a consequence. The problem he's got here, it's not so much the red. The red's pretty straightforward. It's just a wall of reds that he's got to try and drive the cue ball through to get to his colour. There's always a chance the red's going to get in the way, and it has for the blue. He just wants to play the attacking shot, and he's doing so. The safety shot is easy, but he doesn't want to go down that route. It's not nice, that, was it? No, it wasn't on its spot significantly, that black. I always think so used to blacks off their spot, but it was about an inch below its spot, if you look at it, which means it's maybe a different angle to what he was expecting.
Similar, really, this to what we've seen all week from Trump. It's not vintage, but it doesn't mean he won't win. Oh, that was superb. I mean, cue ball was close to the side cushion, but he's given himself every chance here.
Yeah, I agree. It was a really good shot. It may not have been spectacular, but to get that amount of pace on the cue ball with accuracy, to take it out into play, was very good.
You can tell from the way the other players, I mean, John Higgins was talking to Alan, wasn't he, saying, just looking at him, what a player he looks.
Well, he's got the backswing. I know that doesn't sound much, but you watch his next shot, you know, he just brings that cue back, almost pendulum-like, through the ball. All the mechanics are absolutely right for wonderful ball striking.
Six.
You know, in some ways it's a simple game. I remember Steve Davis saying, well, basically, you've got to hit the cue in a straight line through the ball and mould your body around it. Makes it sound very simple, but actually it's not always as straightforward as that. Easy to say, not so easy to do. But he's doing it well here.
Yeah, if he can just now stay focused and cut out unforced errors. He was in earlier, wasn't he, Mr. Red to right corner, but every chance now to level up. We're always looking at who the next new ranked event winner could be. He's certainly on the list, I think, with several of his compatriots.
Eighteen.
I'd be annoyed about that. He really will, because all that good work that he's done.
18.
And he's wobbled the red, thinking I would say about where the cue ball was going to be ending up. Well, he should have been 2 each, really, or certainly well on his way to, Yize. Now he's left with a long pot that if he was 43 behind, he would take on without even thinking about it. Now he's in front by that. If he goes for it, it has to drop in. Different mindset when you're in front with a shot like that to being behind, and now he's opened the door to Trump.
One. Five.
A slightly strange old shot, that one, wasn't it? He played to get on the red, I think, to middle. He's overhit, and now it's awkward. The shot before was not a good one, and I
5.
think, while he keeps fairly quiet about things, I think he's annoyed by that last shot and the one before. You can sense it.
Yes, and he's not lost the frame yet, but this is where his brother Jack, who you mentioned, will have to do his work in the interval to get his mind right for the second half. Worst case scenario, it's going to be 2-2.
And I think he's annoyed because he recognised there was a moment where he could steal that frame and go in 2 up. He's kind of let Yize off the hook a little bit, hasn't he? With that little
4.
contribution. It was the shot before that left this. It was tricky, this red.
Well, the black puts him 50 in front, so another red and a colour is what he needs.
Yeah, I don't know if the black goes on its own spot. It might be obscured, but can't quite see whether the red is completely on the spot. He hopes it is. So it'll go up on the highest available, the pink. You can see the spot there, but I get the feeling the ball won't fit on it.
Well,
12.
as long as he pots this red, it's surely 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, it should be, but of course he will need a colour. Really good. Didn't have a wide angle, but made one with the extra pace.
Just under an hour's playing time. Yize made the century. He had chances in the next 2, but Trump won them both. But this pink, and it should be all square at the interval. Well, he's not on the next red, so we're not quite there yet, but 2 snookers needed.
19.
I think Trump could use that 15 minutes just to get his mind back in gear. As I say, his brother will, I'm sure, speak to him. It was a lot worse in Riyadh, obviously 4-0 down to Wu.
Yize, 19.
Great red. He needs this in, though.
1.
Otherwise, it's cup of tea time. So still 2 snookers needed.
8. Chatham, 8.
I think Judd will try and get it down to 1 red where possible and attempt the snookers at that point. It's not an impossible table to get a couple of snookers either, so Yize's got to be a little careful that somehow he loses his frame as well as the other 2 that he's lost.
Yeah, that didn't exactly help being snookered on both reds, so he had a look. It's time to get the kettle on after all. But a very interesting start. Just over an hour for the first 4 frames. Yize started with a century. Judd Trump won the next 2, but at the interval...
One thing we are certain of is more fantastic entertainment as we rejoin our commentary team.
Thank you, frame 5. Judd Trump to break.
So the players are back after the interval, set up nicely, 2-2, best of 9 to reach the semi-finals here in Brentwood. The winner plays Mark Selby or Ishpreet Singh Chadha tomorrow. 2-2 feels about right, although there was various chances on both sides really in all the frames. Of course, Yize did make the century in the opener.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite free-going match, isn't it? But as we get closer to the magic 5, which is the target, maybe things will tense up. I'm not sure Judd will change much because he's such an obvious winner of matches. But Yize is proving more than a handful here, and it's no surprise, quite honestly.
Yeah, Trump is the man with all the experience of getting these big matches won, so we'll see if Yize gets a chance later, whether he can convert it.
I wonder if there's another couple of these gentle shots into the bunch where they end up just racking them up and starting again, which of course they can do. Well, he's kind of made sure there was no great deadlock by just playing down the table, and Yize can now play off the red that was the one that was being protected there. He's never going to feel over the line, Yize, after what happened last time with a 4-0 lead in Saudi, so even if he won a couple of frames here, he won't be thinking he's through.
Touching ball.
Touching ball announced because it means he's now able to just play away from the reds because he's deemed to have hit one by the fact that they're touching already. This 5th frame yet to really ignite. Wonder what the conversation was with Jack Trump there, who is in Judd's corner, whether just to do as you're doing or change anything. Just keep things tight, perhaps, because we know that Judd is a great putter and scorer, but he's got more of an all-round game than the man he's playing. Just wait for chances to come, perhaps.
A reminder, they have played 3 times before. Been talking a lot about the meeting recently in Saudi Arabia, the semi-final in Wuhan last season, and in Leicester at the WST Classic in in 2023, all won by Trump. Not much to choose on the pot success, as you can see, just 1% between them.
Yes, we haven't seen too many of those sort of frames this week where all the reds end up at the other end of the table, but the safety shots at this end, because the cue ball can't really be played into bulk very comfortably with all the reds at that end. Sometimes you get a deciding frame in a match which will go this way, for whatever reason.
Have the arena to themselves. You can see it's been slightly reconfigured. The tables 3 and 4 taken out. Table 2 will be used tonight. These home nations, I mean, the format is slightly altered, but they've always kind of been the same. You turn up on day one, it's a cast of thousands. You can't get a practice slot. You know, it's very busy. But as the week goes on, it thins out. And by this stage, certainly, once you've made it through the best of sevens, every reason to believe it can be you taking away the trophy.
Well, the cue ball's not gone where he meant it to, but you've got slight cover by the black there to any red to the left middle or left corner. So Judd mightn't fancy that red to middle. Queuing over the black. Plenty of value should it go in. Doesn't look very easy to me. Interesting shot. Of course, the red to middle I don't think was planned. I don't know if he saw it as a 4-ball plant or what. Unusual configuration of the balls though. Not a ball potted yet. What you can do is what he's done there, just get it tight on the cushion or as near to that as possible. So it's hard to play the shot back there with the cue ball by getting underneath the white. I suppose if you can't see a safety shot, there is one thing you can do, and that's try and pot one. The red that's close to the pink spot, he could try and pot. If it doesn't go in, well, he's in a world of trouble, but a botched safety shot would feel even worse, really, because you're not even trying to pot your way out of trouble. Depends what he thinks. That top right pocket, somewhere in there, it might not be easy to pot one. A bit of a two-in-one shot. Clever, I thought, because he tried to cover all of the reds, but he also had a pot in mind. But now that he's played it so well, is he on the blue? He'd love to be. He's kind of give himself a different problem now.
Well, it's big, this green. Got to get it. And he knew immediately he hadn't. Yeah, there was no sort of hiding place there. He had to get that. Walking away from it almost immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that will infuriate him, actually, because he played a terrific shot on the red. But there's an argument, if the red doesn't go in, he's better off. Yize would have had the same problem that he faced. Now he's got this chance. Yize must take it.
Nine.
Yeah, so Trump hoping for a bit of a reset after the interval. A few frustrations beforehand, but things seem to be sort of following the same pattern, really. But so much of it is on this man now at the table. This would be a big statement win, wouldn't it, today, if he could beat Trump, who's only lost one match all season in a final, that was. And it sets him up as well with a chance at the weekend to win his first ranking event.
$25.
Well, so far so good. Slightly awkward here. He doesn't know where to put his bridge hand with the pink in the way somewhat. You'll have to get the cue ball up the other end of the table, but as I say, the reds are quite strangely placed up there on the right. Anything else but taking this over the line in the frame points-wise, I don't think he'll be very happy with, because he's a good chance. Played that pretty well on the left-hand red of that little cluster there.
38. $39.
Certainly disturbed 2 or 3 in the process of potting that ball.
$44.
So many reds sort of down the bulk ends, taking smaller colours, so still plenty on here.
45. $49.
We haven't seen him use the rest all that many times in this match. Only the second rest shot he's played.
Yeah, he just lost position, didn't he? So, as I say, there's still plenty on because he's taken a lot of small colours. Still 7 reds on the table. And the lead 48.
Well, that's a very interesting one, isn't it? I mean, would he have played that? He certainly hit the far red first. An attempt to pot it, but maybe he thought the cube was going to go close to the pot on that one. He never flinched anyways, if it was a fluke, put it that way. Seems to be a plant there now, so it's all seemingly falling into place for him out of the blue.
$6.
Seemingly a big change. That said that Yize probably had to win the frame with that visit, because when he got into the 40s and he missed the rest shot, it didn't seem necessarily that would be the case. But in the space of 3 shots, Judd seems to have turned this frame around. The table is not that congested now. A few noises on the point of delivery aren't helping him in there. It's been like a little week, actually. A few noises you can hear in the Brentwood centre. I think he's on the red that he's close to again, so he's having just a little bit of luck. There's another red on also.
8. $9. 14.
I mean, if he was to lose it here, Yize, at this frame, I think it would be a painful one. Because he looked in a very strong position. But Judd is just moving out all the balls where he wants them as this break is going on.
Okay.
Yeah, this was the ball he missed. But the fact he'd had to get the rest out just showed you hadn't quite kept tight control of the cue ball.
$21.
Yes, he couldn't get very close to red that time from his colour.
Well, we start, I think, to think about the pink here in this frame now. Of course, he's been taking, again, small colours just because of where the reds have been. So it's going to come into play. This still needs potting, though.
34.
Yeah, he's just knocking everything in now. And as you say, it'd be interesting to see how far this break goes.
$39.
He could end up doubling the pink, couldn't he? That would be one way. It's not a perfect angle to get from yellow to green without, or green to brown rather, without forcing this. This is the extra you've got to put in the shot. The accuracy's gone.
41.
Could have been worse where the balls are finished.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's snookered him, actually. He's held his hand up. He's certainly run safe anyway. So, 7 points in it. Oh, so close. I think he already got that.
I think Yize is favourite where the balls are, given that he will not need the pink if he ends up potting the yellow. Trump, as Dave said, will need it. Well, he's lined up the potting angle, but it's not easy by any stretch. Might have looked a little bit loose, but he actually did steer that cue ball round very well. Of course, he didn't know about the nudge on the blue, so he ultimately is lucky, but there was an element of control in the way he played it. Looks like the left middle pocket is in the way of the natural one cushion shot, so he's going to play it with a lot of right-hand side, or left-hand side rather. Just a glancing blow.
Call. Where's it for?
Now, cue ball in hand, the kind of shot that young players practice very much. This sort of range, he'll be dangerous on this.
Long potting though, only 1 out of 6 from Yize. So this would be a perfect time to improve those stats. Big shot this. Oh, great shot. Great shot from Yize. Really got into the white there, didn't he?
If anything, a little too much, but it was a very dangerous range, wasn't it? Putting that cue ball wherever he liked. But as you say, he's gone a little bit too far. Of course, if this goes in, there's only 18 in it anyway. Best Judd could do is tie, but if it does go in, the likelihood is he'll have a shot at the blue to follow it. He's got to be careful on this. Little cutback.
Yeah, nicely done. So
7.
the longest frame, quite comfortably, dramatic frame. He was a little fortunate with the snooker he got on the green. Trump hit it, went in off, but a great pot on the green. And Yize, for the first time since he won the opening frame, is going to be in front in this match. A frame full of incident there. And it's gone to China's Yize, who is 2 away now from a place in the semi-finals of the English Open. Very dramatic frame has just gone to Yize, the world number 40 from China, who leads Judd Trump 3-2, playing for a place in the semi-finals here of the English Open, the first leg of the Home Nations Series. Trump was in the very first final of the very first event in 2016, lost to Liang Wenbo in Manchester. But he's won 6 trophies from 9 finals in this series.
Just couldn't quite get the cue ball away from the cushion. Pleased the red went in all the same. It's one of those he's probably not that bothered when the black drops, because it's just a shot for 7 points. No future in it. quite awkward, isn't it, now? Judd played that last shot well. Very congested right side of the table. Green is covering half of it as well. So, now what? He's got a clear shot at reds also, but can't do much with them. Maybe, if all else fails, a long pot that he could try. At least he's giving himself some sort of a chance that way. I wouldn't rule it in potting one either. I think his long game is very impressive. I know the stats don't back it up, but I just like the way he hits the ball. Yeah, it's a good shot for 1 point, basically. Live to fight another day. Now it's gone in. Well, now, more than 1 point. Very brave shot. I mean, it was easy to think he could just play safe, but he didn't want to.
7.
Oh, this is very interesting. He's made this out of absolutely nothing. This opening. He was in trouble, in fact.
Yeah, it's a sort of approach you associate really with Trump, isn't it? You know, forcing his way in. He's clearly feeling confident now.
I'm not sure which was the better shot, Dave. The opening where he rolled down the cushion, or playing the pink to middle when he really didn't have to do anything like that. He could have just run away up the other end.
Well, he's got himself in, and now
15.
looking to really pile on the misery for Trump. Chinese contingent overall have had a really good tournament, but we're only now, of course, left with Yize. The others have departed.
I
think he's gone too far for the red. To the right corner. A little bit of trudge around the table. Well, this red to middle is acute, and they'd be frustrated if, after all the good work, he didn't keep the break going here. That'll annoy him. That really will.
Yize, 22.
There's a lot of promise in that opening.
This is a thing, I mean, a couple of glamour shots to start with, but he just lost the cue ball and couldn't keep it going, so it didn't come to much from a promising opening. Was still for him. Judd Trump knocks that one in.
Three more. 4. 5. 11. 12. 13. 18. 19.
Well, it might be that the difference between the two players is that with Judd getting in impressively, you know, he'll go all the way and get the frame one, and that might be significant at the end, because Yize should have done the same, really. That's a better shot than it looked.
27.
Bringing all those reds down the centre of the table into play.
Thirty-three. 34.
'Trump, of course, lost to Jack Jones in the World Championship
40.
quarterfinals. He had a long break after that, didn't play Championship League, so he came back refreshed. And good job, really, because he's barely stopped playing since the season resumed.
41.
And that sharpness maybe is also a factor in why he might get the job done today. He's a player who, even if there's not a tournament on, he'll play every day. You know, he still likes playing, still loves the game, and wants to work as hard as he can to keep this great run going.
Yes, he just looked at that bottom red of the two. If he can finish just below straight on it to the left corner, it will be available to him, but there's not much room there. That's why he ended up playing the cannon. Just sizing up the table, and he felt that it had to be almost too precise on position,
47.
I think. It was a much better option. It's amazing, isn't it? You could see his cue not going through very straight there, and you think, well, that's just the way he plays, but always cueing round corners. It's hard to criticise him, though, isn't it, the way he pots? So you don't expect him to miss those.
One.
No, it was completely out of the blue, and, you know, you can't blame the table for that. That was just a very unexpected miss. Just when it looked like he'd broken the back of this frame.
Seven.
But it's gone wrong for Yize, so this could be another close finish. The last one came down to the wire. This time it's Trump in the lead.
Options not a plenty here. Possibly just leave the cube where the red is and take the red round the angles.
Yize, 7.
So this is a frame that both players might
One.
feel they could have won, but all of a sudden that last pot and how well it was played brings about real hope that Yize will win it. Judd missing a red that came out of nowhere. It's almost like now he's got himself into this position, he has to win it. You know, the crushing disappointment of losing 5-4 from 4-0 up last time they played a few weeks ago. Now he's in a position to get this frame won. He's got to be taken.
Yeah, I guess looking ahead, the blue's now on the black spot, so brown to blue could be the shot.
7.
Yeah, we believe that is Yize's father watching on nervously from the audience, proud as well.
$15. $22.
I mean, it's a good point Dave made that brown to blue would be difficult even if the blue was on his own spot. The only thing I would say is that he won't need to get from blue to pink, so he'll already have won the frame by then. Does not want to be straight.
27.
No, I don't know how he's going to be able to hit this hard enough to swing the cue ball round from here. He's going to have to give this an almighty belt. If he's even going to try and get on the blue. Well, there you have it. He didn't even attempt it. And for someone who's so attacking, if he couldn't get round onto the blue, nobody could, I should think.
Yize, 31.
Well, relief for Trump that the frame is still live. He's 12 behind. Massive moments here, 4-2 or 3-3.
Not much of a shot, is it? If he left a thin tempter here, can he get through to it? Yeah, I reckon. Well, there's no doubt that pass. You know, of course, he misses it. He leaves it over the pocket and gifts Judd Trump, but I can't refuse this one. Fairly unexpected, wasn't it, that Judd left that frame ball chance that he did off of not much of a difficulty that he was in.
Well, he needs a snooker now. So not quite done, but it's going to be difficult, this. Black in the middle of the table.
Yeah, I mean, the black could not be in a worse place, really. Smack in the middle of the table to get the snooker. Seems unlikely to happen.
He's sort of duty-bound to give it a go, obviously, but the difference is, I mean, obviously in Riyadh he was 4-0 down, but Trump improved dramatically as the match went on. He hasn't in this one. His performance, he's going to have to stand a chance of staying in. The pink's going in. And Yize is one away from the semi-finals. Another dramatic frame. It's gone to the man from China. Big day for him, and it's getting better and better. He leads 4-2. He needs one for victory to send the defending champion out. So the first quarter-final here at the English Open is a very critical stage for Judd Trump. He's 4-2 down. He's going to have to win the last three. Of course, he won from 4-0 down against Yize at the Saudi Arabia Masters. But let's see if he can find something here. Highest break just 48 for Trump. Yize has just stolen a couple of close frames, both on the blue. Big moments for him.
Yeah, I mean, Yize can't pretend that never happened in Saudi, can he? 4-0s are not overturned very often, so now he's 4-2 up. You know, we can't assume that he's going to be absolutely plain sailing to get over the line, whatever is thrown at him. But like anything else, he's clearly favourite to win the match now, and he's got to go on and do it. He's going to beat Judd Trump in his career. Goodness me, he thought that was a plant, and he's left the world on here. It's the kind of plant that usually they go in because you don't have to play it. So he must have thought it was dead set. It was nowhere near the pocket. Never even hit the jaws. Bad misjudgment.
Could it be his last shot? We'll find out. Yize, I hope so. He's got his first chance to get this one. Remember, it was here in Brentwood 2 years ago in the quarterfinals against Luca Brissell when Trump last lost a best-of-9 in a ranking event. It's incredible run he's been on
6
in this specific length of match. But is it about to end?
I'll put it this way. When you get to within a frame of your target, whoever you are, you could not ask for a better chance presented to you than this one right at the start of the frame.
$13.
He's looking down the line at going into the pink, but it's offset to the bunch a little. A gentle nudge instead. Well, if he's on that red to right middle, it's okay.
18.
Not really, so bridging over a ball perhaps. Very long fingers, you get good elevation here. It doesn't make it an easy shot. Oh dear. Wow. Well,
18.
what a chance that was, and he's not really taken it at all. Too early to talk about alarm bells ringing, but that was a squandered opportunity to get the match won.
$8. 9. 16.
Yeah, the attempted plant from Trump, I mean, it was nowhere near, and it looked a bit like a sort of classic last shot of the match, but it's not. And the danger always with these great players is they come good when they have to, when they sense
22.
that they need to find something. They often do.
23.
Yeah, and the other thing is, of course, it is some kind of a mental barrier that Yize has to cross after his most recent match with this same man. All the demons can come swirling back if you don't get a match won. All the old wounds reopened.
30.
Because it would hurt him. The Saudi was a very lucrative, huge event. And he had
31.
a chance to completely rewrite how that tournament panned out by beating the winner in the first round.
Well, we saw Trump miss out of nowhere in the last frame, but got to say, this is looking like a great chance for 4-3. Just to keep that pressure on that you mentioned. I'm sure well, he's missed again. Wow. Just as I was saying that, he's missed again. That's incredible.
28.
Same pocket, same sort of forcing shot. Yeah, that middle red goes. It is tight. Not a certainty to hit something else on the way through. That was very well struck.
Sorry, yeah, so chance number 2. He'll have been obviously delighted to see Trump miss out of nowhere. Can he just control this cue ball now? Just drifted into an area that put him under pressure when he was in earlier. Slightly hampered.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can just get a boost out of what you do well, but also you can get a lift from your opponent making an error. Didn't see too many of those when they played the other week. Trump really capitalised, but he missed a bad one there.
Seven.
Well, his dad, you can see getting a little animated there, getting a little excited. Ooh, but it's not done yet. It's not done yet.
Yize, 14.
It's a worry now, isn't it, for all concerned, family, friends, for the man himself, because this is a bad miss, and he shows very little emotion, but he looked very disappointed about that one. Judd is good at recognising the signs. There's a bit of weakness that just cropped up from nowhere from his opponent.
Eight. Nine.
Played that well. To land right in behind the
16.
red. Well, people say you get
17.
to the point of winning a match and all you want is an opportunity. He's had 2 good ones in this frame with Yize.
22.
Doesn't look like he'll get another. Trump already 28 in front. So this black
23.
for 36 in front. He's missed a couple into this pocket already. But if he does get it, Yize needs a snooker. Sort of feels like Trump's hanging on, but he's been given help.
30.
The first miss he was slightly hampered, the second he wasn't, and now he's going to have to try and regain some composure. That red didn't look in on the way, but it is in, and so we're going into another frame.
$36. 38.
Yeah, it's getting very interesting now, isn't it, the way this match has panned out.
Yeah, especially because he's playing Trump, who's just so used to winning, even when he's not at his best as the cue ball. Goes in various places here, just
45.
releasing a bit of tension.
Well, I heard a noise, but I didn't see anything. It all happened so quickly.
Well, this cue ball will be earning air miles the way it's going. Little tour of the table there, perfect on the ping.
I'll be taking a bit of his frustrations out
56.
here on the table by the looks of things.
Not done yet. It could have been. Yize had two good chances to get into the semi-finals there, but not to be. And Judd Trump, with his highest break so far, 56, closes to 4-3. Well, it's a bit of a thriller to launch quarter-final Friday, because 4-3 to Yize. It was 4-2. He had two chances there to potentially get it won, but he didn't. And Judd Trump, 56, his best break of the afternoon. And at the end, you could see him just releasing a bit of frustration. But he's still in this. 4-3, first to 5 wins. However good you are, and Yize is clearly a great talent, it's about getting over the line ultimately. He didn't in that last frame. Let's see if he gets a chance in this one, whether he can do it.
Well, that's another mistake, although while the pot should be very comfortable, positional side of it, not so. And this cue ball could finish anywhere if he isn't careful. Didn't really know a lot about it, did he? And didn't try to formulate a plan.
No, and a red's gone into bulk, so, you know, this is sort of dangerous now for him.
He's going to have to play the blue, I think. And this is a horrid shot, tight on the rail. Deserves to be on one. Yeah, he's on the red. I don't really think that's his kind of a shot. It's a little bit of a delicate shot, but he played it okay.
6.
He's kind of living dangerously with all these shots. The double kiss, you could never have imagined the in off to right middle. He's just got another one of these awkward little dinky shots on the blue. Just dinking it in. They're not nice shots. Almost a hiding to nothing on those.
12. 13.
Well, he's got this chance now again, and he'll be most grateful for it because he squandered the last couple in the previous frame. Yeah, I mean, pink's tied up, black is somewhat tied up as well, so in taking the red off the black spot, he's going to have to really force this to be on something. Oh, terrific shot that is. That's really well played.
20.
Yes, so it's about deep breaths and just focus here and just try and concentrate on what you're doing rather than what it means. Not easy. Did win a decider against Stuart Bingham in round 2, and since then a couple of 4-2s, so a couple of close matches with Ali Carter and Ben Wollaston.
25.
But this is a different level, really, than the main table against the main man, the world number 1, Judd Trump.
26.
It's not so much about what you've got to do, it's what it means once you've done it, to beat this man and get into a big semi-final with a chance to win the trophy at the weekend.
One.
Once again, he'd love to have been on that bottom red of the 5, but he could get all the tackle out here because he's going to have to screw back up the table. Pink and black still not really on. So all these forcing shots to get on the blue, this time with all kinds of things onto his cue. Once again, look at the way he finished top side of the blue. Father is absolutely, you get the feeling he's almost playing every shot himself, sitting there, right forward in the chair.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite brave to be in the arena, at least in the players' room. You can sort of pace around, you know, but there you just sat, as you say, living every shot.
Yeah, and of course you don't want to look all that nervous in case it somehow becomes noticed by your family member who's playing. But all the time he's occupying the table and playing these lovely shots on the blue, it's all good, although the next one will be from mid-range. Building up a handy lead in the context of this frame of match.
Yeah, Trump having to stay focused in case the chance comes. It came in the last frame.
$43.
Wonder if he played on the blue on that last shot. He will certainly have a look at the yellow now because it takes him round the angles.
$46.
safe to say things are not getting any easier. Another rest shot. A bit of movement there. A lot of moving around on the shot.
47.
Not only from the player, but the family member in the front row.
$52. $53.
We're sitting there hoping, but it's not guaranteed he'll get another shot in this match. It's been a very hard break. Black's never been in play. A lot of blues.
Okay.
He started off with a pink, which couldn't have put it out of commission for the remainder of the break.
Well, we're now right at the crunch. Not much more to do for Yize. At the moment, Trump could
59.
tie, so if he can pot this, it's snooker's required, and then it might be time to celebrate. His dad's like a coiled spring there in the audience. What a moment. Especially, it's not just a great win, it's after coming off the back of losing from 4-0 up to Trump in Riyadh.
Yeah, I mean, it will be certainly some kind of recompense, won't it, if he gets over the line here.
This is Bahrain Snooker's match ball.
Yeah, and there's a plant there, I think. I think the two reds are set, and that kind of is the true match ball, even though mathematically
62.
that last one was. It's been an excellent break.
Yeah, especially after the way he broke down in the last frame. There were questions. And the red's not there, so it's not quite done. But an excellent break nonetheless, that.
Yize,
One
62.
snooker needed.
Yeah, it was a terrific break, but actually the plant was bang on line, and then he must have hit the first red offline because it stayed out. Now Judd is played on the black, and he's probably still going to have to play it, and if it doesn't go in, there'll be a shaking of hands here. I think it was the right shot to play on the black, but he's overrun.
Got close to it, but that is the end of his reign as English Open champion. The world #1, the player of the season so far. Judd Trump defeated in the quarterfinals. There's Yize's father. He's absolutely delighted, as he should be. His son played so well, and he's the first man into the semi-finals, a winner by 5 frames to 3.